and welcome. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're really excited today to have all of our fall sustainability instructors, professors, faculty in one call to do overviews of their classes and to talk a little bit more about the sustainability certificate at Haas. How today's session is going to work is we will give quick overviews of our new classes that we're previewing here at Haas in the fall. And then we will talk a little bit about some of the application processes for some of the spring classes that happen in the fall. And then we'll also talk about the sustainability certificate broadly at Haas and the nuts and bolts of how to achieve that certificate. And then we'll break out into breakout rooms for each of the classes specifically. So you can hop in there, ask any questions to the professors directly, and you can hop around as students to ask as many questions as you like about the different classes and talk more about some of the Haas structure in some of these classes and the certificate as well. We will just be mindful of time. We will be holding questions until that breakout room time. If you have anything pressing, feel free to chat it in the chat, but we won't open it up for a Q&A until we get to the breakout room session. And I will just add also, please, we are recording this, so if you do have peers and colleagues who weren't able to attend, we will share this out afterwards to share with students who couldn't attend. And then, as always, we're just thrilled. We have such momentum behind our sustainability work here at Haas. As some of you know, this has been a goal that the Center for Responsible Business and the Sustainable and Impact Finance have been working with for a number of years. And to now have Michele in her position here at Haas and Dean Harrison's vision for sustainability and Haas to be #1 in sustainability, we're just thrilled to have new classes, a new infusion of sustainability in the curriculum, and this opportunity for the certificate. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to one of our new courses and new professors, and I'm going to hand it over to Chris Jones, who's going to be teaching a 1-credit class on carbon footprinting in the fall. Chris.
Thank you, Susanne. Well, I'm really pleased to join this program. I've been directing the Cool Climate Network at UC Berkeley for about 15 years, and I've been doing carbon footprinting, which is the core of what we do all that time. So it's about time I teach a class on it. I do run an undergraduate internship program where we have a couple dozen students every year getting trained in data science and climate change. And so this is the first time we'll be able to, dig a little deeper into the carbon footprint analysis. So I only have one slide, my slide here. That's my class. So I'm not going to be sharing my screen. Basically, what we're going to be doing in the class is looking at how flows of economic data translate to greenhouse gas emissions through systems of production and consumption. And then importantly, we're going to be looking at how to use these data to inform low carbon decision-making at multiple scales. So every dollar that we spend as individuals or households or as organizations, businesses, communities, and even nationally contribute to greenhouse gas emissions through product and services supply chains. And so the sum of all of those greenhouse gas emissions is the carbon footprint of whatever entity that is. And so it really is an accounting problem. And so we want to be able to use this new way of economic accounting and to translate into carbon accounting. And so because every ton of CO2 emitted or reduced anywhere in the world is the same, and it also affects our planet, it has intrinsic economic value and social value. So this carbon accounting is really a new way of kind of launching a new carbon economy, hopefully where carbon is priced, but we really have to do a good job about the accounting and really scale that up. And so training students to be able to do that, I think will be a nice goal for this course. There are some big levers for change, no matter where you look, like renewable electricity and electrifying everything, but there are no one-size-fits-all solutions. So there's as much variation in carbon footprints as there are people, as there are businesses, as there are other entities. So we're going to be learning how to use some pretty basic accounting principles to account for greenhouse gas emissions, for products and for organizations and for communities as well. And then importantly, I'm really interested in really the impact students have on greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. And the biggest impact is really not going to be their, of course, personal carbon footprint. It's how they engage in their careers in addressing this problem. So one of the big focuses we're going to have is get students to come up with some big ideas. And then we're going to use some formulas that we've developed to look at the impact of those ideas on greenhouse gas emissions using the carbon footprint framework, using a full life cycle framework. I really also am interested in big ideas. So think of a big idea that where you as a student can impact climate change. And now think of doing 100 times greater than that, or 1,000 times greater than that, because really that's the scale that we need to solve this problem. You know, climate change is here. Catastrophic climate change is already here, and it really is not preventable at this time, but we can slow down the consequences greatly. But we really need to scale it up at that level because we don't have time to wait for marginal types of changes. So we want to be looking comprehensively, and we're going to, in the class, we'll be evaluating each other's ideas using these simple tools that we're going to bring to the table. And I really am interested in engaging with students to hear their ideas and to get students to have some practice calculating the impact of their innovations and ideally interventions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon footprint, you'll see it's a pretty simple framework. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun challenging each other in this class and really coming up with those big ideas that we can do to reduce emissions. I think that's about all I had. I'm really happy to reach out to students, and feel free to reach out to me directly at cmjones@berkeley.edu. Look up the Cool Climate Network, see the tools that we're offering as well, and then maybe in these breakout rooms later.
Thank you very much, Chris. And I was remiss in mentioning as well that Chris's class is dual listed between the evening weekend program and the full time. So both students have the opportunity to take his class. The next new class that we're excited to have this fall is Susanne Stormer's Corporate Sustainability Measuring and Reporting class. This is also a dual listed class between evening, weekend, and full time. So Susanne, do you mind giving an overview of your class?
I would be very, very happy to. So thank you all for listening in here. I am calling in from my home base, which is Copenhagen, Denmark. And I look very much forward to teaching remotely this fall. I have had the privilege of being associated with Faris for several years by now. 2 years ago, I spent most of a semester co-leading an MBA course on sustainable business solutions. Actually, if anything good came out of this pandemic, is that with virtual teaching, it's easier for me to contribute. And I'm going to teach a topic that I am very passionate about, and I hope that you will be too. Certainly, many of you in your jobs will be involved in sustainability reporting and measurement one way or the other. So we just heard about carbon accounting, which is one specific dimension of sustainability reporting. So what we will do in this course is really to take you into the universe, the ecosystem of corporate reporting. And here you will maybe already be familiar with a number of the organizations that combined present what is called the acronym SOUP, where there are a number of institutions. There's SASB based in San Francisco. There's GRI based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. There's the Integrated Reporting Framework. There's the TCFD. There's the UN Guiding Principles. And how does that all come together? And how do you make sense of all of that maze? Well, that is part of what we will be discussing here. And then we want to make it really practical. And and enable you to, if not just go do, then at least know what are the aspects of the discipline of corporate reporting, what are the pitfalls, and what are the opportunities that you will have when you have the responsibility for putting together a corporate report. So in terms of readings, I have learned along the way that you like to have discussions in class, but maybe not so much theoretical reading. So I will present you with some excerpts from textbooks, some policy papers, but I will also make it dynamic and really use current materials, current readings, because this is an area that is really in motion, with a lot of initiatives leading up to perhaps new European standards and perhaps new global standards for corporate reporting, and I will take you into all of that. So we will together we will analyze some leading practice reports so that you get to understand what are the elements of good corporate reporting, and then how you'll be acquainted with how information is used. So who are the users? And then we would also do a deeper dive where we will discuss impact measurement and management. And in particular, how do you ensure quality of data? Because that is the holy grail of sustainability reporting, that data is reliable, comparable, relevant, and importantly, decision useful. So I look very much forward to being part of this program, and we can have further discussion in the breakout rooms afterwards. Thank you for now.
Thank you, Susanne. And Susanne forgot to mention that she helped advise and create the new European standards as part of her work serving on that commission. So she knows a little bit about this space. So definitely amazing to have the virtual opportunity to hear firsthand from someone who is absolutely a global leader in reporting standards and is ahead of the curve in setting the standards. And you can hear more about that in her class and breakout sessions. So now I'm going to hand it over to Kat, who heads up our Sustainable and Impact Finance Initiative, to talk about some of that programming.
Hi, everyone. I am very pleased to be here to talk about the programming. Can you all see my screen? Susanne, give me a thumbs up. Great. I recognize many of you from interacting around this curriculum before. I run the Sustainable and Impact Finance Initiative, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the curriculum that we have in the fall, but importantly also how that curriculum is linked as prerequisites for some of our spring courses. So I want to start out by giving an overview. Our introduction course to impact investing here at Haas runs in the fall. It's called the Impact Investing Landscape, and it runs on 2 Sundays. It's open to evening, weekend, and full-time MBA students. It's going to be taught by David Chen, who is a leading impact investor and currently professional faculty member at Kellogg, and we're really excited to have him joining us at Haas next year. This course is very broad. It covers the whole landscape. It attempts to cover and to give you a sense of the whole landscape of what could be called sustainable finance, so public markets, ESG style investing, impact investing by large investors, through to the impact entrepreneurship and venture capital space. Over 2 days, it includes a number of leading professionals in the field who join as guest speakers around impact measurements, around a number of different topics. But it's a really helpful course because the field is broad. And so the goal of it is to really give you a sense, if you're stepping into this space for the first time, of where are the different spaces that you, with your interest in sustainability, might be able to plug in if you're interested in that intersection of sustainability and finance. The other reason that this course is important is because if you want to take several of our spring impact investing courses, we do require that you've taken the impact investing landscape in the fall. So if you are interested in taking the Haas Impact Fund, which runs in the spring, and the applications will be in October, then you need to take this course. The Haas Impact Fund is our early stage VC impact investing fund, where student teams source, conduct due diligence, and identify impact enterprises to pitch at the end of year pitch competition for an investment from our fund. And then the second course in the spring is the Impact Investing Practicum, where teams of students are paired with impact investing firms and organizations for a strategic consulting project. So I'm happy to talk more about that. We're going to have a breakout room on sustainable and impact finance. So I'm happy to answer questions both on the impact investing landscape course this fall, which you need to sign up for during bidding, along with our other courses, or more broadly, the curriculum that we offer at SAFE beyond that.
Thank you, Kat. And I see Nancy Wallace. I believe you're on the line now. Nancy.
Yes, I am. Sorry,
Perfect.
of course.
No, I know you were teaching right to this. So Nancy's going to give a little bit of an overview of her real estate finance class in the fall that has newly, really exciting, embedding sustainability into that curriculum. So thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the time to talk about this. So I'm chair of the real estate group, and I've been involved in sustainability, mostly with the Department of Energy, with a whole series of grants for the last 8 years. We were, in fact, the first finance grant ever funded by the Department of Energy. And so this year, for the first time, I decided to really, for the MBA courses, I've been doing this for a number of years with the MFE students, where I also teach, to really introduce sustainability in real estate. So real estate is a major problem in the capital markets and the asset markets in the United States. We are profligate in our use of energy, and we don't really have well-developed capital markets for funding either energy efficient retrofits or rethinking how we do development in urban areas. And how do we think through things like the carbon taxes that are coming for real estate? So New York has just implemented a carbon tax. It's going to change many, many things about how real estate investments occur and how real estate risk management happens. So I have changed both the investments class to really focus on sustainability, and also the finance class, which is in the fall, to really focus on how this can be done. Some of this will, the course is a fixed income course. In that sense, it's the same as it was before, but we're going to do a number of cases that are related to the kind of infrastructure finance that will be required and is currently used by the large operating companies to change the way they handle energy and energy consumption in the built space. So I'm very excited about this. There's a lot of really interesting things going on. I have to say New York State is a leader. I think California is going to follow very quickly. We've been doing benchmarking of our buildings for a long time. So now we have relatively good data. And I think the capital markets will start to follow those data in terms of underwriting. So basically, we'll look at infrastructure finance as it applies to real estate, large scale investments, multi-use investments, and then shared utility infrastructure, because that's the only way we're going to get scalability in retrofitting US buildings. So all of that has to be funded. The funding is going to come from the bond market, and that is what this course is going to look at. So the other thing we're going to do is I've just bought 2 very large data sets that will be hosted by the Long Library. We are going to look at some of the REITs that do quite a lot of energy investments already, and how we think about running warehouses, huge consumers of electricity, the warehouses and the data centers, who are all organized as REITs. So we'll also look at balance sheet issues and financing issues for those very energy intensive industries.
Amazing. Thank you, Nancy. And I wanted to share that Nancy's a prime example of where we're hoping to see more integration and sustainability in classes that aren't specific sustainability classes. And we see that definitely as a future of education at Haas. So thank you, Nancy, for leading the way in that. I'm going to hand it over to you, Michele, to specifically talk about the certificate and for students to learn more about what qualifies, what doesn't, and how they can achieve that.
Thank you, Sarah. And Kat is going to share her screen with the slides, just to remind you. So thanks, everybody. I'm excited to be here. And I wish I could take every single one of the classes that I've heard about so far. Somehow I'll figure out a way to learn from them. My name is Michele DeNevers, and I'm the Executive Director for Sustainability at Haas. And we are trying to expand the curriculum and embed sustainability in all the courses that you will be taking, so that you come out with at least some familiarity with sustainability, and some of you are more deeper. Kat, can you go to the next slide? So the certificate program, which we've just launched this spring, it is now available to all full-time MBA students, and it's available through some twisting of your body to the evening and weekend students. We're in discussion with the MBA program about how to make it available to them too. The certificate will appear on your transcript as Graduate Certificate in Sustainable Business. And it requires a total of 9 units of courses that are in the certificate, divided into sort of 3 categories. The foundational courses are required courses. We have 2 tracks in the certificate program. One is an economic track, and the other is a financial track. So there are different required foundational courses for each of those tracks. The domain courses is basically a list of electives that you can choose to take. And then at the synthesizing project course, again, there's a selection of courses for the economics track, or the Sustainable Investment Fund is the synthesizing course for the finance track. So there's some flexibility to put together the set of courses that you want to take, but there are some requirements at either end. Kat, could you? Okay, why would you want to get the certificate? As this slide says, it leaves you better equipped as you go into the workplace. It signals your commitment to sustainability and helps you to join a community of change makers. We have our goal, one of our goals at Haas is that every student come out with some basic literacy in sustainability, and some students are interested in taking a deeper dive. That's what this certificate program does. We're in the process of trying to develop a joint degree program in sustainability with the College of Natural Resources, but that will not be available for another year or so. So in the meantime, this graduate certificate is what we're thinking of as a green MBA. And in talking with potential employers, including members of our board, they say that they really want students who come to them with their specific MBA skills. I was talking last week to the global head of marketing for BlackRock, who said, we want every student to understand the issues of sustainability, understand the challenges, understand the landscape, and understand the frameworks, no matter what part of our company they're going into. So this will certainly allow you to do that. I think that's it, right, Kat? No, okay, so we can go. All right, so we'll go quickly through what these requirements are. So the foundational required courses, if you take the economic track, you must take both energy and environmental markets, taught by Lucas Davis, and business and sustainable supply chains, taught by Omar Romero-Hernandez, who's on the call with us today. For finance, you would take the impact investing landscape that Kat already described. Could you go to the next one? Okay, so these are the elective courses organized sort of into different, into our different pillars of sustainability at Haas. You may know that in terms of breadth of coverage of sustainability, Haas as a business school has a much broader set of coverage of sustainability than most other business schools, some of which have joint degree programs with their schools of environment. But within the business school itself, we have the most. So these are the classes that would qualify for the certificate. Kat. Okay, and then the synthesizing project course, if you are in the economics track, you can choose between either clean tech to market, which is a terrific course at Haas, or strategic and sustainable business solutions, which is a relatively new course being taught. If you're in the finance track, as I mentioned earlier, you would take the sustainable investment fund, and that would be your synthesizing course. And remember that you need a total of 9 units. Okay, Kat, is there another one? No, that's it. Okay, that's it. And I'm happy to answer any questions in the breakout session. And I wanted to thank everybody for their presentation of the courses that we just had, Chris, Susanne, Kat, and Nancy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michele. And I wanted to call out before we hop into breakout sessions that there are some other information sessions that are going to be happening for Clean Tech to Market and for Food Innovation Studio. So Emily, do you mind talking really briefly about Food Innovation Studio?
Yeah, just as a quick note that the Food Innovation Studio taught by Will Rosenzweig, it is a 2-unit applied learning course that takes place in the fall, where interdisciplinary students, Haas and across UC Berkeley, participate in a real world venture or idea that they want to develop through a systems level analysis of the sustainable food environment. We will be hosting an info session on that course exactly 1 week from today at the same time. I am entering the information for that in the chat, and it is an application-based course. So that link is also in the chat. Applications are due on Friday of next week. I believe that's the 16th. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions, but hope to see some of you next week as well.
Thank you, Emily. And I am putting the link in right now for the C2M information sessions, though I'm sure some of you have already seen one already happened on the 17th and one happened on the 1st. There's a recording of that. There's another on the 5th and another on the 15th. So plenty of info sessions to choose from for C2M. So wanted to also do a quick chat check here. Stephen is asking if the deck will be sent out after Michele of your deck. So Michele, Kat, and I will make sure that deck gets sent over to attendees. And then right now, Adriana, unfortunately, the Strategic and Sustainable Business Solutions class, the professors can only teach during the daytime. So it is only listed to full-time. If you are EW and have flexibility in your schedule, you can take it. There's current EWs in the class, but it is unfortunately only offered in the daytime at this time. So now we are going to hop over to breakout sessions. We want to do a quick shout out of 2 other professors that are on the call who are going to be talking about their classes in their breakout session. One of which is Faris Natour, who teaches the Human Rights and Business class that is now offered in the fall. And then Omar Romero-Hernandez, who also offers a class in the fall called Business and Natural Resources. So they're both graciously here today and going to be having breakout sessions so you can ask about their classes specifically. So you can pick whichever ones you want to go to. You can hop back and forth between them. I will be staying in the main session in case you have overview questions you want to ask about sustainability at Haas. Or specific questions about the Center for Responsible Business. But in the meantime, I will open these rooms and feel free to dive in deep with any of the professors. Kat will be there to ask questions about SAFE broadly, and Michele will also have a session to talk about the certificate.
Are you putting us in the room or? Okay, great, thanks.